You want to know how I really feel. The camera's rolling, the action going. Baby, the love for you is real.
People think I'm crazy. People are walking by. They want to know.
How do you like it? 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 How do you like it?
I love that people are looking at you like
I'm
you're.
not going in. I'm worried. My connection is off.
We are. Good morning.
I'm reconnecting.
You're good. I hear you. You're good. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. I'm trying to reconnect. I'm trying to do
I
the
hear
best I
you. You're
can.
fine. No. You're live. You're good. You're good.
Okay.
Jackie is. Where are you? Tell everybody where you are.
I am in Manchester, England, across the.
Now the Wi-Fi. You got to
And I
reconnect. It
am a
didn't like your snaps. It didn't like your snaps.
boss. That's the best part. The best part is the snaps.
I know. As soon as your Wi-Fi was fine, and once you started snapping, it was like, no. There'll be no bouncy C's. Nope, none at all.
Yes, I love that. Around CC. We've been doing that. Yes, I'm at the CIPD annual conference and exhibition looking at employment. If you look, I'm sitting, interestingly enough, I'm sitting by the ethics conflict resolutions section.
Oh,
Look, there's Todd in a Textio shirt.
is he selling things? What's he doing?
Todd, the thing that's funny is that Todd has friends. You know, he went to one disrupt and now he's got friends everywhere. He actually last week earlier in the week we were in Liverpool at the AI conference, and then we're here. Todd has friends, so he's off hanging with his friends.
I mean, he's amazing. Really, he is amazing because he makes friends in a phone booth. It's
I know.
just,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
fascinating.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's so.
Or like, oh, can you go get a sandwich? And the next thing you know,
I thought he was selling at the Textio booth. Is he like doing biz dev? He could.
he has his shirt. He has his shirt on. He's representing because we're here.
He
It's
could.
it's been interesting. Literally, what's funny is I'm in the first presentation looking at AI, and who are they promoting? Textia.
Amazing.
I know.
That's all.
It feels kind of. It feels. I was like, it never gets old seeing our name, pop up somewhere as an AI tool. So that was great. But you know who's here also? And I mean this in the nicest, kindest way. Hi, Bob. Have we not said it? Has no one said hi to Bob? Can we say?
I love Hi Bob. I
Yeah.
have a sweatshirt hoodie that's really nice from them that says "I love Bob." That they gave to me, and I love that sweatshirt. It's so comfortable. I love that the tool is they're really making a push in the U.S.
They're making a huge push, and I just brought my own bag because I was like, we don't have a booth, and I don't want to be kicked out. So I'm wearing. Todd has the shirt on, and I'm sure people think that there's a Textio booth.
You look very nice.
I have
Are you speaking this morning or this afternoon?
No, I did speak yesterday. I'm speaking next week, and
You
I
got the sport coat on with the blouse. You've got the look going today.
right. I'm trying. I know. I should really because I thought maybe I'd walk around and meet people. I needed to look authentic.
But I want yeah, but you're not. What are you doing? The peach lip? You should have gone full deep red. Full deep red.
I did yesterday, and for the first time ever in all of my business travels, used the laundry. Todd was like, "Oh no, I got makeup on my car." He was like, "Absolutely not. I'm sending it to the laundry." And then he's like, "How do I do that?" I was like, "I don't know. I've seen these for years."
That bag that's hanging in the closet. You're like,
he's like, "Is this a blouse? Is this a tracksuit?" And then he's like, my fashion is really, really limited."
Is this a tracksuit?
Like, I have no idea.
Is this a tracksuit? That's the best line.
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Oh, good morning, David. Good morning. We're seeing people come on.
Oh, sorry. Let me add the chat.
No, you're good. Uh, I am in a hotel room in Dallas. I'll be speaking tomorrow at TalentNet with some friends of ours. I think Nikki's coming. She's speaking. Shannon Pritchett, Craig Fisher, Dan Lockhart. There's a bunch of people. I'm speaking with Melissa Thompson from Ford, so it should be fun. We should have a good time.
I love that.
I know.
I'm excited.
They're very much missing you. Very much.
Let me tell you, by the way, let me put it on Do Not Disturb. I'm trying to keep as much as we possibly can get for the connection and stuff.
Roderick, good morning. Oh my goodness. Lady Anna, Josh Rock, look at all these people. So I guess let's start with the question, because it's the question we might be needing to ask this week. How are you doing?
Not great.
Yeah. Yep.
Scared.
Yep.
I think a lot of it has been coming direct. Like remember when Kieran left and people were like, "Oh, you're missing your biggest advocate," and I was like a full wreck, and everyone was like, "You're not missing. You're fine." It's just a lot. I think it's been really hard. We're in a different country.
Yes.
The thing that happened. This is what's important for people to recognize that is a little different. Like I knew we had already voted. I knew we were going to be here. But what I didn't realize was that as soon as I could get myself together and wrap my head around everything coming together was when everybody was starting to wake up.
Mm.
So it just started over, and for me and I always, so people know I'm an unfriender if we're not friends. And it doesn't matter if we're political or if you like cars, and I like if it just is a clogging my feed, I'm unfriended, which means everybody on my feed is empathetic to the same things that I have in my life. It doesn't mean we agree necessarily,
sure,
but it just means that people are acknowledging it could be a hard day for some people, right? So it's just all over the feed. And so getting like a lot of like Black woman stuff, and it's like I feel like hated. That's a different feeling than other people have.
Yeah.
That some people might have. It's not, so it's different in that space.
I'm a bit of a fixer by nature, which is something I have to like temper at times because it's not appropriate at the time. But sometimes I just need to say the word, right? You are not hated. Because I think sometimes we just have to hear a different talk track at times because it can feel heavy. And the abyss, right? Like the spiral where it's like the messaging, you know what I mean? It's like,
well, what's also kind of funny, I guess, is it funny? Maybe is not the word, but people are like, I mean, it was like joking when I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna stay" or whatever. Someone was like, "Oh, well, you should just stay." I was like, "Do you not have cable? It's not any different here than it is like."
It's so interesting that you're saying that. I didn't mention this to you when we were chatting. So I was in Denver. I too had to vote in advance because I knew I would be gone. I spoke at the Sherman Inclusion Conference, which, by the way, I see Roderick here. Roderick was in the 2-day building inclusive workplaces with me, and so glad to see you jumping onto this first coffee for you. Awesome to see you. So we had a watch party on election night. Sherm rented out an entire place, and everybody from the conference was watching together, right?
That's rough.
Right. And they had like, this place had like massive screens, right? One of the three primary channels: CNN, BBC, and BBC was the third one. Watching how the UK was watching
Yeah,
it there. Fascinating. It was I was fixated on that one because I wanted to see
yeah.
how through their lens, because I don't normally look at that. Really, really
And
interesting.
and so that's why I was like, and but then, you know, so we're sitting there, and there's just like at every conference, there's people different ages, groups, and different things. And so someone said something about like healthcare, like, oh, my husband, my wife had this, and we couldn't get this and this and this, and it was like, what would happen in the U.S. And it was like, it depends. Do you have a job where you work full time with benefits or not? Because that makes a big difference. And someone was like, why? We don't have they don't have national health care. They're like, well, what difference does it make? Like, you're having these conversations with
Right.
people, and of course you have to like it's little to ask people to tell you about what things are like, but it's different when you're sitting in a room. They want you to like to give your opinion on the whole United of States
It is, and
while
it's
eating Indian food with people from Ireland. Like, right.
that's
And I'm like,
extraordinarily multicultural.
I, I'm like, I would love some garlic naan while we're discussing American politics with people from Ireland
First of
and
all,
members of the Labor Party.
I
Like, what's
bet you
happening
being,
here?
I bet
My
you being
life,
with the people from Ireland.
my how my life has changed.
I got to tell you, the idea of being with people from Ireland must be like awesome. I would have loved to have done that.
But Dallin is like, that's our friend Rick from the Netherlands. Like, our life has changed, John. I don't think we're ever coming back. We're gonna just
Our friend,
float on an international cruise.
first of all, well, let's talk about having international incident. If he gets loose too much, it's going to be an international incident.
Absolutely.
Fully.
Absolutely.
We're going to talk about career restlessness, but obviously you all know we couldn't ignore what this week has been, right? So we're definitely going to talk about that. One of the things that's interesting for me, and I think it kind of draws everybody back to, I hope, back to center in some way. That this, and I had said this to you when we were chatting. I know, okay, Trump won the presidency, Kamala did not. This was not just an election of the presidency, right? There were governors, lots of governors that were up for election, Senate, House of Representatives, and to see some of the switch, actually not as much on the governor's side, but on the Senate and House side, I think the Democratic Party picked up flipped 2 seats on the House, and the Republican Party flipped 6. And so you're looking at these numbers, and then on the Senate side as well. There's a messaging, and my encouragement. This is what I've told people we've both been reached out to, I'm sure, a bunch, and I just have come back to, there's something here that we have to pay attention to in terms of it not just being about one thing. If we're just so tunnel vision on one thing, there's a messaging thing. There's the way in which it's being delivered and received. So because it's not in a vacuum, we're seeing it in multiple places. And so my encouragement to people is, if you think that the message needed to be delivered clearer, with more effectively, more opportunity for involvement, maybe on individual part, right? How do I get involved to help with some of this? This may be an inspiration then for some people who are surprised at the results, or of course disappointed in the results for some. It could be a call to action for some people in a different way.
But it's a call to action, even if you feel like it went in a way that is positive to you. You
True.
have to then do something. Like, if it's gonna, if it, and at the end of the day, it's always been like that within the various elections. If you're gonna do the stuff, and I think what is sad is that we have to pay attention. I've had friends, um, um, my friend's daughter, her teacher said something really ugly to her. She's already looking to change schools, like without it even being a full day. Um, I had another friend who got an anonymous text saying that they're going to be enslaved now. That like that's basically like that's the nice version of what a text that people are getting. So it's hard to not keep it personal when people keep making these things personal.
Sure, sure. And I'm, I'm not here to say who should feel a certain way. That's not what we're doing. We just need to affirm the fact that people are going to feel a certain way. And Mandy, I appreciate what you're writing. I mean, the majority it's a different thing. Joe had 3 points in majority when he won last time. I mean, we're not talking about huge gaps in the numbers. We're not talking about, somebody winning by 80-90%. That's not what's happening. It hasn't happened that way for a long time. So it's always going to leave one side in despair, despondent, discouraged, disappointed, all of that, of course. But I'm talking more about it, I think, from an issue standpoint, right? When my point was in multiple places, you have to start looking at how is the messaging being delivered, received. I'm not saying I know what the answer is. I'm just putting that out there to say it is not just one isolated piece. It has had some thread, and it was fascinating to listen to. I guess I saw a bit on CNN yesterday morning, and that was part of what they were kind of working through is thematically, what should we be paying attention to, right? From this is surprising in maybe one or two deeper ways than we thought. And I appreciated that conversation. I don't know that there's an easy answer. I just appreciated that we're starting to think that way. And you and I talked about inclusivity in the sense of, I know that I can only share my experience, right? We had some organizations send out caring, compassionate communication yesterday to say, hey, this may be a really hard day for you. If so, take space, share if you're comfortable to do so. Take the day if you need to, whatever you need to do. And I got a note from someone at one of those organizations saying, I'm fascinated that we pride ourselves in being inclusive, and no one asked me if I needed that time 4 years ago when the person that I was hoping got into office didn't get into office. Can you help me understand inclusivity and how we're defining it? And I was like, ooh.
Yeah, and the whole thing that people need to know, you don't have to include people who don't want to include people. That's like important. Like it's always kind of been the joke because I have another podcast called Inclusive AF. And it's like, but we're not including people who aren't going to include other people or people. We don't include people that are actively causing harm with intent, right? Like some people, like you can have differences of opinion. That's one thing, but you don't have to include people who cause harm. Like, it's important that people understand what that means, but we want to give people space. And that's the big piece is making sure that you're including space for everyone.
Space. Yeah, space. Yep. Yeah. And I think that's the case. I mean, obviously I don't know this person. I don't want to, and if this person is watching, I don't want them to think that I think that they, have been harmful in any way. I have zero idea. But right, how do we make space, right? It's hard. I don't have all the answers. We're just chatting. I don't have all the answers.
I have all the answers, but I charge.
Right.
I charge for those.
Direct your questions at a rate to Jackye, and she will answer them.
That's right. Upon payment, upon receipt.
So, switching to career restlessness, here's a question I have for you because I'd like to know what it's like. Has the buzz been at the UK at all about the new year and the job market as a result of either, elections, as we're talking about, right, and how that may change some policy when it comes to economics, or are they experiencing a shrinking industry areas where they've done a lot of RIFs as well? Are you hearing anything while you're there?
Not as much. You know, what's really funny is that it has been one of the things is global, looking at things globally and trying to expand globally. I think we're seeing more here. You see that a lot in the UK. The other thing was about AI, and the concern has been more about understanding AI faster and it not being there. They just had like there's various laws that aren't keeping up with the technology and the things that are going on. I'm hearing mostly of that, but then people getting excited about having an opportunity to have new careers. What does it mean? But it's still, I think that's been the biggest piece. Like, we're going to have other opportunities. It is going to replace some people looking at the AI. But I think there's more concern. If you remember when we started talking about data privacy, like GDPR came before we had any legislation in California.
Yes. Yes.
All of that. And so I found it. I'm trying to find the exact quote because it was between pictures of me and Mervin. I took pictures of
Mervin. Is he
Yes.
nearby? I mean, we adore him. You know that.
I know. We had dinner yesterday. Mervin, it was he's leaving. I was like, oh, I'm going to be in London next week, and he said, oh, well, I'm going to India for vacation.
What?
Boy.
Why
Anyway,
are you so selfish?
there's a new European AI legislation, and it was the AI Act requires you to pursue secure and ethical development of AI.
So broad.
Disclose what data your AI is being trained on, implement comprehensive risk management, ensure robust data management practices, and confirm proper controls are in place. Now, what does that mean? I have no idea.
And
But
they
I'm just
probably
looking
don't
for
either.
Right.
That's the truth.
Strike
Sounds like
emoji.
we should do something. Let's do something. Yes. I have zero idea what I wrote, but it sounds like we're doing something. Yeah.
We should absolutely do something.
I asked the question. I forget, a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to some people about whether they're using AI or not. And I said, how many of you are not using any AI? And, you know, folks right away, very proud to raise their hand. And I was like, all right, okay. And so I asked how they, if they had written anything in Word or used Excel this, you know, in the past month. And they were like, well, yeah. I'm like, well, Microsoft Office has AI in it. So, and they were like, what? And I'm like, yeah. I said, I'm not mad at you, but part of this is it's embedded in some things you just might not even realize now that it's there.
Like, do you have an iPhone? Listen, let me tell you something. I got the new iPhone. I don't know if y'all noticed, but I had an iPhone 12. I was
Yes.
looking for a new camera. I got iPhone 16 Max Pro. Big mistake. Huge. Let me tell you, I am not. Look at what it does. Look at what it does.
What's it doing?
This is using Apple AI. Like, it
Oh.
glows. My whole phone
it
glows.
glows. Yes, yes.
When I send a text message, it already knows I'm talking to John and what kind of language I'll be using. I'm like, this is a little.
First of all, it should not be keeping track of the language you use when you're texting me. That's inappropriate. The 1000% don't teach it that. Stop training AI.
teaching, creating a bot. I'm gonna have my bot talk to your bot.
Right. Our bots are gonna like be Thug Life bots. That's what's gonna happen.
Thug Life partners bots.
Forever. Listen, the idea of AI, I have to tell you, still from a career restlessness standpoint, is still a topic of conversation for people who we're talking about, obviously a few minutes ago, with things that people are really worried to the core about. I have had some conversation with people who are worried to the core about their futures from a career standpoint. They're involved in certain industries, particularly on the development side of things, coding side of things, where they're like,
oh, they're done. Absolutely unnecessary. Obsolete. Fully obsolete. Because boo-boo, I just wrote a bot. You should be scared. And I did it in 12 seconds.
Yes.
and can't
Yeah,
spell Bob. People are creating like people. I wrote
yeah.
a business plan for a bot. 5 seconds. Like
It's
there are
really
some
scary.
really well, it's scary. I mean, if you're using it, what's scary
No, I
is
mean just how quickly someone with zero experience all of a sudden has
yes.
like created a bot.
What's scary to me is the relationships people are building. Like this is the same thing we said 5 years ago, that people who have gotten comfortable because they are using bots and whatever, the people that will excel will be the ones who know how to use AI and the ones who know how to work a human.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you it's a world of extroverts, and I'm sorry, that's going to be the ones that are going to be impressive moving forward, are the ones that know how to talk to a human, not just the ones that can write a prompt.
That's
What am I
me.
doing?
That's
You're in a
me.
hotel room and I'm in public and I forgot and I
Listen,
cannot do the same
first of all, you can shimmy a little bit in public. You might make a little. We got a couple British pounds by doing stuff like that. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. Todd will be happy to collect the money. Just have him stand
thing.
there.
Why do we go to a restaurant and it's like, oh, look at our dinner, it's so cheap, it's only 65 pounds. I put it on the Amex and it comes through like $90. He was like, what?
Yeah,
What happened?
yeah,
What does
yes.
this? Boo boo.
No, no, boo
That is
boo.
not how this works.
It's so funny that you and I, we are amazing together because all week I have used, and I know Roderick's here, some other people might be here, but uh, I have referred to people as boo boo skidoo so much over the past couple of weeks. I don't know why it's like my new thing right now.
Also, where's my husband? Like literally, he's like he just dropped his backpack and
He had a UN meeting he had to get to, so he'll be back a little later because he's the ambassador to the UK right now. So he's at the
but he's got a
embassy.
Textio shirt on. This is not.
He's at the embassy right now working on people's visas. So let, let it go. CNN reports an international incident in the UK involving Todd Clayton.
They'll be like, I get fries, but they call fries. It's like, oh,
He's like standing there with four Irishmen going, "What's the
potato
problem? What's the
chips,
problem?"
collard chips, no fries.
It is, first of all, we should be very clear. We do love Todd. You love him a little more than I do, but we do love him. I mean, honestly, barely, because I know we have a thing, Todd and I. But the little uncomfortable. But I mean, I'm not mad. But the idea of restlessness. He's somebody who's a great example. There's someone who honestly can be in a room and he's comfortable to like move from person to person, hear stories, interact. He has zero problems with that kind of stuff, right? And go ahead, you went on mute. Are you good?
Yeah, I was just like, he's infinitely curious.
Yes. 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 Which is a great characteristic. Truly. Curiosity is a great characteristic. Okay. Now we have people who have been curious. This is really hard. We have people who've been curious in their careers for 10, 15, 20 years. And the curiosity has taken them to, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't like this anymore. I don't belong here in this anymore. That's really hard, I think, for people.
And I want to tell you. So I'm here. I did Disrupt Manchester. If you're familiar with the Disrupt event, and the topic that I gave was, I don't understand. I don't like it. I don't like you. An intro to change management. I was like, those are the steps. Those are the 3 steps. Once you can get past those steps, you're good,
Was this
right?
recorded? It was recorded, right?
It
I
was
want to see
recorded.
this. Okay.
Yeah. If that guy walks by one more time, I think he just wants to see himself in my camera.
I think he wants to be near you. You smell delicious. That's part of the problem.
And I'm looking at Todd taking pictures. I think he's got a chapstick. I mean, welcome to
Here we go.
Swag City. If you
International.
don't know, look, here is what's going on. Maybe I should, by the way,
Oh yeah.
that right there, it's a thing. It's like win the day, hit your HR targets literally, and win a luxury spa day. And it says benefits, L&D, performance management, employee well-being, and people are hitting the things that they're loving life.
We are such simple people in human resources. We will line up for 4 hours to spin a wheel. What are we about? I don't understand this.
I won a baby octopus yesterday.
But that's all right. My baby
Yeah.
octopus is pretty good. You and I, though, are dealing, and I know this because you're, again, Texio and Humoriso internally are at similar levels in terms of employee size and scope, right? But even there in that size organization, you have people who are like, oh my gosh, oh, that looks like from Finding Nemo. It's got that look to it. Yes.
All right. Sorry, I'm going to be focused now.
No, you're good. It's all right. Who are trying to figure out, like, is this career where I want to be? How long am I allowed to do a career before it's comfortable for me to transition to a different career? Because that's a reality now too. Before it becomes a have to, can I choose to make a career transition because I've become restless where I am now? I feel like I've taken in all I could, and now I want to be challenged differently. How does a recruiter receive that? Will you even look at my resume if I'm trying to show applicable skills? I still think we struggle in that area.
Well, I feel like we're going to have a lot more entrepreneurs, right? But you have a lot of people where, like we were
Yes.
just talking about chat GPT or generative AI and coding and how developers, I never knew that I could build an app before. And I couldn't. But now with ChatGPT or all of this AI, I can build something. Or there's a need that I've been thinking about for a really long time. And I asked and built a whole business plan that I never knew that I could do before. I think that's part of the restlessness because as people that are infinitely curious are looking at these things, there's things that were impossible that somehow seems possible now because you don't have to do a bunch in order to get these things into play. And so I think that's part of why we're seeing the restlessness too.
Yeah, I mean, and if I think access is a big contributor to this. Like, people have access to ChatGPT, Copilot, whatever it is you might be using, and all of a sudden can sort of help. It helps them to create certain things, and the access to those resources, in some ways, pushes restlessness, but it also pushes like creativity in a different way. And I can be involved with things that I can't be involved with in my normal day job. So at night, I'm starting to do some of this other stuff. Now, can I make a career out of that? Can I cut down on my day job to part-time, and so that I have more time to do some of this other work? Maybe I want to have like a side hustle doing this or this. This restlessness thing, I mean, you said the word entrepreneurial, right? This is absolutely a lean in. We have more universities that have added over the last 15 years entire majors for entrepreneurship. And I mean, that was unheard of 20 years ago, to have that kind of direct intention that we are going to graduate a bunch of people to be entrepreneurs. So we're pushing this sort of gig mentality, but the negative of that is restlessness. I can't stay anywhere for very long because I'm hungry for the next thing. Most organizations aren't really built to be able to handle that long term.
The other part that people are getting worried about is the marketing side. Creatives and Jamie, our producer, talking about people threatening to be replaced, coders, writers, data entry. Those are things that are needed. But then, I'm at this AI summit. So I spoke at an AI summit first, and I got asked, what are we going to do with creative directors?
Just every time you
I
say
was at the Liverpool. Because, I'm an international speaker now, just hitting all the hot
I'm
spots. And
so restless. Yeah,
oh
I
my
know.
God, I'm very restless. So I'm going to go to Greece. Um, no, but they were like, what are we going to do with creative directors?
Yes.
It's going to be, I was like, it's going to be, you're still needing creative directors, except the ones that are creative are going to be the ones that can put these things together
Or
and stand out.
do we need a creative director full time? That's going to be the other trick. Can a creative director serve and support 3 different organizations? Multiple. Could they do it? And A, can they do it? And then B, will the organization accept that? Some of us are still so mired in you're mine, 40 hours a week, you're mine, you're mine, you're mine. I don't know that we have people who are not going to really align with that being the future that they want. They're going to be too restless.
They are going to be too restless. I feel like, but what is interesting here, and we saw it a bit at HR Tech, is people still haven't figured out how to engage at work. Like,
Yes.
it's amazing. I mean, that's why I wrote my stuff on change management and understanding the people because, okay, let's talk about this. Life is changing. These things are changing. How are we
Yes.
dealing with it? But the amount of software for engagement, surveys, rewards,
Yeah.
why have we been doing this for like 10 years now? You ever
Right.
figured this out? The
Right.
chat GPT don't do
What,
that.
20 years at least? I mean, you think about how long. I mean, Global Force
And
was
it's
over
just
there.
gotten worse. Burnout
Yes.
has gotten worse.
Yeah.
Sickness and illness has gotten worse.
Part of it, I think, is, those of you who've heard me speak over the last year, I'm sure in some way, shape, or form, I've alluded to this. Hold on. When I was speaking in places, we've got it right. Let's do this. And so, like, this whole idea of expectation management is a huge problem. It's a contributor to career restlessness because we're allowing people to come into an organization with with lack of clarity around the expectation of their involvement, right? Like,
That was the other part. It's the lack of clarity. And, we're always talking about like the speed of tech, right? The speed of tech and how that's part of the reason that we haven't been able to do it, I think, is because we have the technology. Like we used to literally have to write a grid, spreadsheets. You used to have to use
remember,
graph paper. Like,
I I still have the graph paper.
and
And
now you
maybe
don't even have to, I
I
mean, you
don't
can
have
do it
to
on your
do it.
phone.
I sometimes still do it because it relaxes me. I just kind of like draw a bunch of lines and make boxes. But
Yes. I write numbers with a pencil and I erase and then I
did
write
you
it.
do the thing with remember the dotted grid pages where like you would play the game to like close boxes and put your initial in it? Did you play that? I loved
I
doing
did
that.
play that. Yeah. The next time I'll see you, I'll do it again. I'll do it.
If you had like a long road trip, you'd be in the back seat, like just playing this game with whoever else was back there. No seatbelts.
I
We could
probably
just sit.
have those million things. Well, let me ask you, Mr. Entrepreneur of HR, are you feeling a little restless?
It's funny. I'm going to say yes. Um, Maybe not in the same context, but yes. Some of it, I wonder if we shouldn't be a little restless in that it's part of the inspiration for us to kind of look to continue to evolve and advance or add. So in that regard, yes, I think next year is is going to be not that it hasn't been fun, but I think it's going to be next level fun for Humoriso. We've got some big things happening. And so like fun, big things the company will still be here. Please don't at me. That's not what I'm saying. But just like part of it, because we've been open to what's the best use of what's next for us. Another part of it is because, and with you know this, but everybody listening may not, like there are some phenomenal people who work at Humoriso, like over the top, crazy good people that work at Humoriso. I want to make sure that they're challenged and their skill sets being leaned into a little differently here and there, so that it keeps them engaged. And so that means I have to evolve. So as a person, as I look at the business, yes, I would say I'm probably a little restless, but with a direction.
I'm laughing because this guy's like hitting balloons, and you just said HR are a simple people, and I'm like, this guy's
What's he doing?
literally he was taking balloons. He's taking,
He's sucking the helium out of it. Is that why he's doing it?
no, I don't know. I should ask him.
We still have HR people who do the party trick at the bar for the happy hour, who take a balloon and they suck in the helium and talk in the voice, and it's like, really? That's your swag? Like you're walking in with some swagger with a helium voice? But I will tell you, I heard some boots knocking earlier this week during the conference. I mean, you just can't. I'm telling you the truth. It is always the case at these large conferences. We got lots of people looking to find love for sale for the evening. Just what it is. I almost want to just tell them, hang your like lanyard on the door. Instead of a tie, just put that on the doorknob. Everybody still will know it's the same thing. That's what's going on.
I agree. I think that's what should happen.
Speaking of restlessness.
You're in trouble. You're in trouble, mister.
I mean, full out, loud as could be. Loud as could be, dear Lord. And so,
By the way, side note, people, we got stuck in Canada, as one does.
It happens.
We're listening to the radio, and Drake comes on, and my husband says, "Is that motherfucker? Am I listening to Drake in Toronto right now?" It's like, this is the most Canadian moment I've ever had in life.
I've arrived. Listen, that whole thing. You said that. Talk about people needing to get ready for a new career. This whole Hollywood thing, Diddy. Woo! Wait, y'all. More is coming.
It's coming.
More,
it's not gonna be nice.
What I'm gonna, if I get, please, somebody correct me if I get her name wrong. Is it Jaguar Wright? Jaguar Wright, I think is her name. She is letting everyone know, everybody who's in these rooms and what they were doing. And I'm like, oh my Lanta. People are going to be making career changes quickly here.
Quick. People need to get their checkbooks out. Because it's going to be nothing.
Horrible stuff. Holy crap. And I think it just reminds us, to be quite honest with you, this is where the encouragement to expectation, what success looks like, how to help people find the best in what they can bring to the table, that should be part of the joy of the work that we do. That should be part of the joy, because left to our own devices, depravity sets in very quickly. I guarantee you, nobody sat, Diddy didn't sit back as soon as he had his first hit record and think, how can I arrange this so I screw myself 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road? I'm certain he did not sit there and think of that. We have to come up alongside people. It's part of the joy of the work that we do in human involvement, and help forecast. Here's a career path. Here's a couple of options. What interests you? What resources can I help encourage you with? We've got to be advocates for people in general and help encourage them. If not, I'm telling you, 5 minutes, depravity sets in.
5 minutes?
In 5 minutes, depravity sets in. Come on.
5 years? No, it's 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes, y'all. But we have ways of supporting.
35 minutes listening to those people go crazy this past week. It doesn't take very long for depravity to set in.
Well, what's interesting is you have to go to meet people where they are and provide coaching. It's part of it. I think like LinkedIn is offering an AI coach. I don't know if people feel safe. I don't know if I want to tell my AI coach everything, but you have to be able to give people ways to use this creative energy. I mean, we can call it restlessness or those types of things. People are going to have a way for these creative outlets and be
Yeah.
able to implement and put some boundaries around it so that you can get that. You have to get on top of it. I think that's what the career restlessness, you have to get on top of it at your organization and give people the ability to use those skills, or they'll use them someplace else.
Yes, totally agree. Love that advice. It's I want to make sure though, I love that Mandy is here, or will this end up like the Epstein case? I hope not. I mean, I don't want to see people lose their lives for that. Like that was a
That's what
mess.
I'm wondering too. That's
That's
what
a
I'm wondering
mess.
too.
Yes.
And I
That would
get
be,
worried about that.
yes. Gosh, I hope not. Um, but no, I think you're right. If people don't know what to do with their restlessness, we leave them to their own devices. They're going to fill in the blanks with what they think they need to do, which often is leave. I'll just go somewhere else. I'll see if I can make it work somewhere else. I think one of the saddest things, though, with that is you and I both have been with people who, they're on their like fourth job in 8 years, 9 years. Um, and they're just having a hard time really
A
finding.
lot.
Yeah.
What's sad, if you look, you'll see people that have 10, 12, 14 years. I saw somebody, they were at a company 13 years, but in the last like 5 years, had 5 jobs,
Yeah.
trying to figure out all of those
Trying
things.
to figure out. Yeah. Yeah. And I listen, Jackie and I are not saying that people can't change jobs, that they're not being considered for roles if they didn't stay, 10
And
years in.
I coach people, like we overlook that because there's been various challenges we know with the pandemic, everything else, right?
Yes.
But I don't think people know what a career is and what career path they're supposed to have. I don't think people know. It's just not, you know. Oh, Lauren, anytime you want to give a compliment, please digress. Please
Yes.
digress.
You're not digressing. This is fully interactive. Please comment on what you'd like to. And I am offended, Lauren. Thanks so much, because I'm actually wearing glasses as well, but I appreciate that. I guess mine are not special enough. I'm sorry. Whatever. It's whatever. It's
It's
because
whatever.
Jackie is beautiful and I am not. I'm well aware of this. So thanks, everybody.
Mark has, look,
Look at Mark. What's up, buddy?
my advice is always focus on finding a new job to go to, not a current job to escape from.
If escape is your motive, I'm sorry that it's gotten to that point. I'm not saying that you should stay. That's not what I'm saying. But my goodness, how unfortunate to get to the point where it's like I have to escape.
That's always the question. Are you running to something or running from something?
Yeah. Listen, and if it's part of, I think too many people have allowed, from a career restlessness standpoint, have allowed others to have power in their lives that they ought not to have. I don't understand. I'm going to rephrase that. I do understand, but I don't know why we allow people's opinion of you, of your work. And sometimes it could be one person in your organization. You may hear 5 you're awesomes from other people, and you have one person who's like, meh, and we'll gravitate towards that one negative opponent in the organization. And it makes us question, are we doing the right thing? Should I be in this organization? Should I be doing this work? Maybe I should go back to school and learn how to do something else. I mean, we really have this like crisis that happens for individuals as a result of allowing someone to speak that much into your life. Now, I'm not saying that there may not be weightedness. So if that one person is your direct supervisor, who seems to be the one who's very negative about your work, I still would say, if that person is never able to be pleased, you'll know if they can be pleased or not. If they're never able to be pleased, don't let it take your joy. You're still a valuable human being. Your restlessness may be connected to a relationship rather than your actual career. That's different.
Well, hey, check it out. So this room where I am is going to close like in 10 minutes in the hall. Do y'all want to see a little bit more of what's going on around here?
Yes.
Want me to walk and show you? Okay,
Yes.
hold on.
Why is
Hold
it closing in 10
on.
minutes? What time is it there? People don't know that. What time is it there?
Oh, it's 3:50. It's about to be 4 o'clock p.m. So let me take you on a little bit of a ride. Let me
Four
put it in my
o'clock.
pocket.
Happy hour starts at 4, or what happens at 4? Happy hour.
Me, I think I'm gonna eat something. My whole schedule is so off. But I wanted to show you the boots. The people will look familiar. Let me get this on
You're
my shoulder.
you're you're on blur in the background, so you might have to change that just so that you know.
I don't know if I know how. Let me see.
Gosh, you have the new iPhone. Oh, I see you already. Like, why isn't it doing this? I don't understand.
And it's huge. Like I don't know any. I don't know any. Okay. Can you see?
Wait, why do you do that?
That's
He gets
God.
little kisses back to me. Why are you moving so fast? There he is.
Oh, sorry.
It's blur.
Tell me if I'm going to. It is.
Yeah, but
I'm
some
sorry.
of it's coming in clear.
I'm sorry.
That little gear thing. If you hit that gear thing and then hit
Yeah.
virtual background, third one down, that's where I think you can change it from blur or not. The gear thing, virtual background. Oh, or I just turn off the camera in full. Do you see it? Virtual background? No, I love you. Do 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 do. While you're doing this, I will say I'll just wrap that up to say this is why check-ins are so important with your teams. Like, have robust conversations. I love asking the question, "Are you feeling restless at work?" I think it's a great question to ask. Let people answer honestly. All right, you figured it out?
You do?
I do. I like that
No.
because I'd rather
We're gonna
know.
do our best.
Yeah, you're good. Now, what's that purple one? UKG in the house.
UKG is in the house. Who was that? Employment
AI help.
hero.
Okay.
Yeah. I like
What?
this.
Where's
This
the
is what
swag?
you were talking about.
UKG?
Personia. Hold on. UKG. Look.
Oh, Personia.
Yeah.
Wow.
Helps HR teams work smarter. Look, there's the people at High Bob.
Hi, Bob. Tell them John Baldino said hi. They love
John
me.
Baldino says hi. Did they hear that? You think they
No,
heard that?
they don't know who I am.
And then the
Ooh, that's a
rest.
nice booth right there. What's that one to your? Ooh, look at that.
You're so funny. No, we're just gonna go all the way out front. But this is what they have. We're putting everybody together so everyone can join, and they have all of the different paces. But they have what's interesting, literally, is they had it broken down. So it was mostly AI, employee engagement, careers and skills, ethics, conflicts, resolutions, learning and skills. So it's very
Oh,
similar to what
Jamie
we've had.
just did a wonderful job. He changed it so that you're more landscape. We can see more that way.
So it's good,
People want
you
you
know.
to grab swag for them and send it to their houses, Jackie. So please pick up something.
Look. Oh my God. Oh my God. Did you see that?
No.
This is
See,
what life is like in the rest of the world.
what is it?
It said this is our neurotic extrovert
Oh,
quiz,
are
right?
you leaving? Or is this the other part of the exhibit hall?
This is the other part. Now we're leaving so we can go to the restaurant bar cafe.
Okay. Well, this was we need to end a few minutes early for you. Yes. Okay. Well, this was great. I mean, honestly, I hope the encourage. First of all, you're awesome. You look great. Got a good spirit today. I know. Again, it's been a tough week for some. For some, it's been celebratory. It's run the gamut of emotion this week. So, what are you biting?
I'm biting my badge.
Ooh, international visitor. I love that.
Yes, so people know when I say stupid stuff. Oh,
What did that
not funny.
say? International visitor exhibitionist. What did it say underneath there?
Exhibition.
Oh, just
It's an
exhibition.
exhibition hall. Yeah,
Exhibitionist. I was like, all right, come on
that's a
now.
little rough, isn't it? That's a little. Internationally, I'm an international exhibitionist, and they've heard about me.
I'm just
Heard
saying.
about. I know
All
that
right.
it's kind of difficult for some, like you were talking
Yes, it
to. It's
has.
been difficult for some. Please
Yes.
be kind to people and meet
Love,
people where they are. Right?
love people. That's right. Meet them where they are. Love people well. Love across the board. We got to love people well. We need lots of conversation, lots of communication.
Yeah.
Okay. Love everybody. Thanks for hanging with
Love
us. I
y'all.
think it'll be a solo thing.
Bye.